everybody, my name is Rebecca and welcome back to my channel, Dissociative Discord. I hope you all are doing okay today, and if not, I hope you start to feel better soon. So I mentioned before that finally having a name for what I've been experiencing was a huge relief. And finally having a therapist who helps me a lot with dealing with these things has been amazing. But at the same time, having the awareness now that what I'm dealing with is potentially a dissociative disorder and like DPDR and that type of stuff is actually really hard. Because not only do I have to deal with the symptoms I'm dealing with at the moment, which are very upsetting and distressing and stuff like that, but then it also comes with the knowledge of that the reason I feel this way now is because I experienced trauma so bad in my childhood that I didn't feel safe in my own body. And so I had to use dissociation as a coping skill to survive in whatever situation I was dealing with. And so that's really, really difficult to realize. It's something that's really, really hard to digest and to accept and to deal with. And not only that, but a big thing with dissociative disorders is memory loss or just general amnesia. And that can be really, really upsetting because, not remembering how I got somewhere or not remembering people that I know that I've known all my life, it's upsetting. It's really, really distressing, and it's not fun to deal with. And having DPDR and dissociation really does genuinely affect my ability to function in everyday life. I've had to quit jobs because of it. I've definitely struggled in school in the past and to this day. And, and sometimes I can't build successful relationships because something in me just can't do it. You know what I mean? And of course, by talking about all of this, I'm not meaning to scare anyone or sound pessimistic, but this is the reality of living with a dissociative disorder, with living with trauma and all of these types of things. Mental illness isn't a trend, a fad, or a joke. It severely impacts people's ability to live the life that they want to live. And I just want to make sure that people understand that, Sorry, it's just really frustrating. But there are definitely a lot of things that people can do to help themselves cope, and I will let you know some of the things that I do. So I wanted to insert a little bit of a disclaimer here about coping skills. What can work for one person can entirely not work at all for another person. And even sometimes what can work for one person can change so much from day to day or moment to moment or situation to situation. So that's why it's important to have like a list of a bunch of different coping skills you can use. And that's why it's also important to experiment to see which coping skills work the best for you. I pretty much deal with dissociation on a daily basis, so in some ways it's kind of become a new normal, weirdly enough. But there are definitely several things I do to help myself when I have to deal with intense dissociation, such as when I'm triggered, stressed out, or just generally feeling super dissociated one day for whatever reason. And also just kind of deal with how having dissociation affects my cognitive abilities from day to day, and those things will be listed right now. So one of the main things I use when I feel really dissociated is essential oils. And I use this necklace here. I'm going to show it to you right now. And it's actually a lava stone bead necklace that I got off of Etsy like a while ago, I think. And lava stone is actually really good to use in conjunction with essential oils because lava stone is a really porous material. And so when you use essential oils on it, it holds the scent of the essential oils for quite some time. So it's just really easy to use. And also plus it's just really easy to clean and really easy to take care of. So it's just generally easy. And these are the essential oils that I use. I normally recommend using strongly scented essential oils, things like citrus scents or peppermint scents or just like really strong scents like that, because it kind of jars your body back into the present, thinking like, oh, I smell this thing, and it forces your attention back to the present moment. And also it can be really helpful for masking potentially triggering smells, because our sense of smell is actually really strongly tied to our memory. And so if there's a specific scent that's really triggering for you, then maybe like putting an essential oil near your nose or whatever to smell that instead will help kind of divert you from being triggered back into a trauma memory. And so that's how I use them, and I hope that will be helpful for you to know that. So another thing that can be really helpful for me is kinetic or tactile grounding, and this really just means using your body, using your sense of touch to help ground yourself in the present moment. And this can be through stuff like stuffed animals, like I'm showing you now. They're very soft and nice to just kind of squeeze and play with and whatever. And then there's also kinetic sand that I actually got from my therapist a while ago. That can be really helpful too, because, you know, it helps you focus on how it feels and all that type of stuff. And then also just generally moving your body can be really helpful. You know, tapping your feet on the floor, you know, doing whatever you need to do, moving around, because I know for me, when I get triggered, part of it is dissociation, and part of it is also, you know, that activated fight or flight response where I feel like I have to run or something like that. So sometimes the best thing to do is move, like in some way, like going for a walk or, you know, just moving your body in any way that you feel is comfortable for you, so that way you can safely enter kind of back into your own body and kind of sort of exert that nervous energy or that fight or flight energy that was activated for whatever reason. So something that can be helpful for me, especially if I'm feeling triggered by something, is using grounding statements. Examples of this would be things like saying my name, my age, what the current year is, where I'm currently at, saying things like I'm safe, I'm here, I'm okay, that thing isn't happening to me right now. Because when we're triggered by something, we can be reverted in our mind back to whatever age we were when that traumatizing thing happened to us, or back to that emotional state, or back to that physical feeling, sort of like body memory state of what happened, of like how we felt when we were experiencing that trauma. And so having grounding statements can really help you sort of ease yourself back into the present moment, maybe a little bit quicker or a little bit easier than if you were to just let it sort of ride out, and also help you feel a bit safer, I guess, or at least that's how it makes me feel. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know about that in case that would also be helpful for you in that type of situation. So another coping skill that I use is distracting myself, honestly. I do things like listen to music, play games on my phone. I go through normally like a cycle of YouTubers that I watch that have funny videos that I like to watch all the time that I know will help me feel better. I sometimes make friendship bracelets, I cross stitch, sort of just things like that just help me distract myself from how I'm feeling. Because sometimes I might not have the emotional resources to really deal with how I'm feeling at the moment, to be honest. Or sometimes that's just all I can do, and I just have to kind of wait it out and hope that the feeling passes soon. So this next one is kind of important, and that is having safe people I can talk to. This could really be anyone in my life that I find safe, like my therapist, my boyfriend, one of my friends, those types of people. And the key word here is safe. Maybe you can talk with someone in your family or someone you know, but they're not safe to talk to, if that makes any sense. Like maybe you could tell them about something, but they won't listen, or they will invalidate you, or they will make fun of you, or whatever else, and so they're not a safe person to talk to about how you're feeling. So finding a person who will validate you and listen to you and, you know, take what you have to say into consideration and help you is important to have. Having a good support system is really important when dealing with really any mental illness, because having to deal with all this stuff on your own is so hard. And so having people you can sort of share the load with, in a sense, can make it at least a little bit easier for a person to deal with. So this last one more has to do with how I deal with the cognitive issues that come with having a dissociative disorder, and that is using reminders on my phone. Oh my god, I cannot stress the importance of this if you have memory loss or amnesia because of a dissociative disorder or just because of really any mental disorder. Having things to keep track of what you're doing with your life is so important. I have reminders on my phone to remind me to drink water, to eat food, to like just do things in general that make sure that I'm like brushing my teeth and doing all the hygiene things and making sure I'm taking care of myself, because when you have a mental illness, it's hard to keep track of those things. Like, did I eat something, or have I not eaten anything for almost an entire day and I just haven't realized it? You know, that can happen. And, you know, having things like journals, calendars, using the notes app on your phone to help you write down things that you need to do and then physically crossing them off to be like, okay, I got that done, can help so much with keeping track of the daily things you need to do as a person living in this society. And so yeah, I cannot stress the importance of that enough. So yeah, that was just a few coping skills that I found that work for me, and maybe some of them will work for you, or maybe it'll give you sort of a starting point to help you think about what could be helpful for you as well. And yeah, I just hope that you got something from me talking about that. So there you have it. That's my personal experience with DPDR and or dissociation. So yeah, I hope this video was a bit more understandable or a bit more relatable than my first one, and I hope you just in general found it helpful or useful in any way. So just as an announcement, I finally think I've figured out what I want my upload schedule to be for this channel, and I think it's going to be every other Saturday or Sunday. So I just want to let you guys know that so you know when to expect videos from me. Thank you all for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye!